Over the last 20 years, Steve Farber has shaken up and redefined what it means to really lead and make a difference in the business world and beyond.
Hey, Joe. Just got this email from my boss. She says I got to empower you.
You're going to empower me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does empowerment mean to you? I'll tell you what it means.
You're going to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me. I'm ready.
It means that from now on, you're going to start making decisions around here, take better care of our customers, improve our processes, and all that garbage. So this shouldn't take very long. Just sit still while I empower you.
I'll try.
Attaboy.
Is it working?
Joe, I empower you to go out there to make decisions to improve things around here, so go forth and be empowered. One last piece of advice, however. Don't screw it up. Now, before you make any decisions, check with me. Thanks, Joe. Can you relate to that? All right. Now, here's the point. Here's the point. Obvious, it should be obvious to everybody in this room, right? That's not empowerment. That's using a new vocabulary word with the same old behavioral garbage associated with it. The words are easy to use. The opportunity that exists for everybody in this room is to really live out the promise of what empowerment is. And what really gets me excited, because this is my area of passion, and has been for my entire adult life, is the opportunity to really lead. And let's just get one thing out of the way right now, just be absolutely crystal clear about this. Leadership has got nothing to do with what it says on that business card in your wallet or in your purse or in your pocket. It's got nothing to do with where you sit on the company's organizational chart. It's got nothing to do with who or how many people report to you. It's got everything to do with who you are and what you do, how you approach your work and how you approach your life. And I'll say this politely, as best I can. I've met some people over the years in my work that sit very prominently on their company's organizational chart and have very impressive sounding titles that still have, and this is the polite part, a bit of work to do, let's say, as far as how they lead, if you know what I mean. And the other side of that equation is probably far more important. I can't tell you how many people I've met that have no positional authority. They're not managers, they're not supervisors, they're out there on the front line doing the work, and they're great leaders. So there's something else going on there, not the title, not the position, but there's something internal and external that's happening that's really significant. That's the kind of person that I refer to as the extreme leader. But a place that comes across as being exciting and energetic is much more likely to be cranking out a product, a service that people are going to love. I mean, it's a direct result of the level of energy that leadership is putting into that place or not. So here's the question to ask yourself. It's a bit of a litmus test kind of a question. I won't ask you to answer it out loud, but I think it's a good place to start. In thinking about your own influence on the energy around you at work, ask yourself this question. Do I generate more energy when I walk into a room or when I walk out of it? You know what I'm talking about, right? We've all known these people. They're like the walking vacuums of the human spirit, man. They're like the energy vampires. I mean, all they have to do is walk into the room. You see it in the body language. Just look at everybody else in the room. All they have to do is walk in, and it's like they suck the life out of the place. And you see everybody else just kind of shrivel up and wither and die until that person leaves. And then it's like the clouds break, the sun comes out, the birds start chirping, and we get back to doing great work again. So we want to make sure, all I'm saying, pretty simple, is that we're not that person, right? In other words, that we're putting more energy in than we're taking out. So the question is, how do we go about generating energy? And, there's probably thousands of ways to do it, thousands of ways. So on the highest level, simplest level, I'm asking you to pay attention to it. Because please don't underestimate the degree to which you influence the environment around you at work, just by virtue of your being there.
Steve Farber has risen through the ranks, from business owner and entrepreneur to senior-level executive coach and consultant to vice president of management guru, Tom Peters' company, and ultimately to business thought leader, world-renowned speaker, best-selling author, and leadership visionary.
Philosophers call this the ethic of reciprocity, which basically says human beings should do good for other human beings. And what I found particularly interesting about this is that not one of these versions from any of these cultures had a little asterisk next to the words with a footnote at the bottom of the page that says, does not apply Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 and 5. And yet, when we go to work, the golden rule doesn't seem to be the rule very much. It seems to be the exception to the rule. Until you look at the great leaders. And when I say great leaders, I don't mean the historical leaders. I mean the great leaders that you've never heard of. But they're the people who are famous in their organizations for being extraordinary. To them, they get this on steroids.
Steve Farber's landmark book, The Radical Leap, a personal lesson in extreme leadership, is already considered a classic in the field and was named as one of the 100 best business books of all time. His second book, The Radical Edge, Stoke Your Business, Amp Your Life, and Change the World, was called a playbook for harnessing the power of the human spirit. And his latest work, Greater Than Yourself, The Ultimate Lesson of True Leadership, debuted as a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestseller. Here's Steve.
From this point on, this is going to be a little different from the normal so-called speaker video. We are going to show you speech clips with a wide variety of venues, from the MGM Grand Arena with 17,000 people in attendance to more intimate settings with smaller groups. So you will get a good flavor of my style and approach. But maybe more important is that you'll walk away with a good knowledge of my content, my platform, my body of work, which is making such a huge difference for so many people in so many areas of life all around the world. And here's the reaction that I get time and time again. This is not the same old leadership stuff. This is leadership revisited. This is leadership re-inspired. This is extreme leadership. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there are some people that are more naturally inclined to leadership. They just kind of get it. They're just really good at it. They don't even know what they're doing. They just do it well. It doesn't mean that for the rest of us there's no hope. It means that for the rest of us, we have to pay very close attention to our own development, and all of us can do it. All of us can rise to that challenge. Sometimes that challenge is thrust upon us. Sometimes we seek it out individually. But we have to be aware that leadership is born out of challenge. And now imagine this. The day finally arrives where you're ready to take on the mountain. And as you approach the track from down below, as you're looking at this track, you're thinking, this is going to be cool. Because the angle is manageable from down here. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny day. The sun is glinting off of the snow, and you're thinking, this is awesome, man. Can't wait to give this a try. You got your board in your hand. You take the lift up to the top of the mountain. And now you're taking in the view from up here, and you're thinking, all right, this is a little different. This is a little different, but it's not bad. And you got your board in your hand, and you step up to the edge of the track, and you look down. What's the angle like from up here? There's no angle from up here. It's a straight drop into the abyss from up here. So now you're having second thoughts, right? Your hands are shaking on the board, the heart's beating in your chest, sweat's breaking out of your forehead, having trouble catching your breath. But you finally get up the nerve to just lie down on the board a little bit, and you're teetering on the edge, and finally you take a deep breath and you push off, and before you know it, bang, you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you suddenly realize that you are now 100% committed to this idea, right? There is no turning back now, and typically at that point in the process, there are two words that come to mind. What are they? You know what they are. I'll be polite. I'll call it, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Is that slide still up there? Do you see the picture up there? Okay. M stands for moment. You got the idea? Okay, here's what I'm suggesting. Here's what I'm suggesting. The OSM is the natural built-in indicator that we have as human beings that we are doing or about to do something that has potentially extraordinary impact.